Have you ever been feeling like your Anki reviews are getting too overwhelming? Do you want to know how to make the most of a small amount of time every day? In this video, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that will help you clear out your overdue pile of flashcards in no time and help you stay on top of your review without getting this problem ever again. Hi, my name is Anki and today I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to get through your Anki deck faster than ever before. When it comes down to it, we all want more free time, so why not put our spare minutes into something productive? Let's get started. Make it a habit. The goal of a spaced repetition system is long-term retention, and the only way to get the most out of an SRS is to use it on a regular basis. The best practice is just to review every day. That alone can greatly decrease the chances that your Anki deck will schedule an enormous amount of cards for review. This is called SRS Debt, and I'll talk about that shortly. When it comes to SRS reviews, there are two distinct ways. Typically, reviewing Anki material every day helps form a regular habit. It's best to review your cards first thing in the morning, but any time of the day can suffice. Some people are better at fitting reviews into their day's gaps. They treat their reviews as if they were on a mobile game. They'll pull out their phone and write a few reviews while waiting in line at the grocery store or while waiting for the kettle to boil some tea. This helps them to devote their available concentrated time blocks into immersion. Experiment with several approaches until you find one that consistently gets your reviews completed. Reviewing cards. The way you review cards can determine whether you will spend 5 minutes on Anki or 40. When you're reviewing Anki cards, you will have to grade them. If you recognize or think that you recognize and understand the target word of a sentence card, then grade your card as good. Anything else should be graded as again. Avoid the hard and easy buttons, because they can change some values in the card's setting to later create problems. If you make a mistake but you actually know the word, feel free to grade it good. If it turns out that you actually forgot it, then it'll be more obvious next time that you'll need to hit again. If you make a mistake but know the word, feel free to give it a good grade. If it turns out you forgot, it will be more clear the next time you need to press again. Don't be scared to press the again button. There is no teacher to tell you what to do. You have freedom. The objective isn't to achieve the greatest possible grade. It is not a failure to forget a word. Anki's algorithm is designed to have people remember a little more than 90% of the time, and not 100%. This implies that if you forgot a card, it was either because you needed to see that word sooner or because you weren't prepared for it. Both of these are quite typical, and according to Anki's algorithm, you should forget about one card out of every 10. You're probably viewing your card too much if you never forget their meanings. It may seem counterintuitive, but failing a few cards each session makes the entire process more efficient. Go to your Anki stats and see whether or not you have a total retention rate of at most 90%. If not, try to reduce your interval modifier to something greater. If your intervals are too small, you are seeing your cards too often, remembering more, but wasting your time. Leeches. If you repeatedly fail a card, Anki will classify it as a leech, and it will no longer appear for review. Keep in mind that active study is intended to aid and speed up the acquisition process. Some phrases and expressions will make your brain ready, while others will not. If a card becomes a leech, your brain isn't ready to recall it, and the effort isn't worth it. You'll run into the word again later, and will be able to learn it when you're ready. Keep in mind to not overly price Anki that much. Anki is just an aid to language acquisition. Immersion is the main player when it comes to language learning. A reminder that making cards entail making educated guesses about your readiness. Expect to get some of your guesses wrong. You should feel confident in your ability to discard any cards for any cause. What if you don't like this particular card? Remove it from your life. Do you think the word concept is a little hazy? Remove it from your life. Is it just the message that isn't getting through? Remove it from your life. You can either simply delete or suspend a card. Suspending a card means you remove it from the active deck, but the card is still saved. Suspending is recommended since you may wish to reintroduce the card into the rotation whenever you're ready to study it. SRS Debt is when any reviews you don't finish before the end of the day will be carried over to the next day. You'll have twice as many reviews tomorrow if you miss reviews now. This gets rapidly overpowering. The most common cause for individuals quitting their SRS is debt. To avoid this, make it a point to always finish your reviews. Reduce the number of new cards to focus on reviews if you're short on time. If you miss a day of new cards, there are no actual penalties. If you skip a few days and your reviews build up to the point that you dread even thinking about Anki, the first thing you should do is to stop the bleeding. There's already some collateral damage. Any cards that have stacked up are likely phrases you've forgotten. Let's term those cards stale. In the meanwhile, Anki will schedule a review of any card it believes you're going to forget. Let's term these cards fresh. You now have a queue that is made up of two sorts of cards. New cards that you will most likely forget soon, and stale cards that you may have forgotten already. The issue is that Anki does not place a high value on new cards. If you use Anki's review priority system but don't finish the entire queue, you'll waste time relearning old cards while forgetting about the new ones. To put it another way, if you place a high priority on relearning forgotten terms, you will wind up forgetting even more. The answer is to pull the stale cards out of the rotation for a while, then gradually add them back in after you've gone through all the new cards for the day. To do so, make a new deck named Backlog and move all of the cards that need to be reviewed into it. Then, on a daily basis, firstly, complete your reviews in your primary deck. Secondly, transfer a modest, reasonable number of cards from your backlog deck to your main deck. And finally, go through these cards. These cards have now been reintroduced into the regular rotation. It may take a few weeks to clean out the backlog deck, but you won't forget any new terms in the interim. New cards. Anki lets you choose how many new cards you want to learn each day. With my second video, I show you how to achieve this in Anki. Anki will blend new and review cards by default, but you may also learn new cards before or after reviews. The scheduling tab of preferences allows you to customize this option. Experiment with all three options to see which one suits you best. I personally review old cards first, then the new ones. You can't pick how many reviews you have each day. The SRS displays all cards you're likely going to forget in the near future. You may, however, change the number of new cards you examine today to impact the number of future reviews. The most common error people make while learning with an SRS is learning too many new cards per day. This results in an overwhelming amount of evaluations, detracting from immersion and leading to burnout, i.e., quitting the SRS. Because it takes roughly 2 weeks for the number of new cards to significantly influence the number of reviews, this problem is quite prevalent. People underestimate review burdens because of the time lag. By multiplying your new cards by 7, you can approximate the number of reviews every day. If you learn 10 new cards each day, for example, you may expect 70 reviews per day in 2 weeks. It's advisable to start modest while utilizing the SRS, so you don't become overwhelmed when forming the habit of using it every day. Start with 5 new cards each day and gradually increase the number as you feel comfortable. Quantity is less essential than consistency. In less than 3 months, you'll have learned 1,000 cards if you learn 10 new cards every day. Remember that immersion is more essential than active study. Spending too much time on the SRS implies sacrificing immersion time. Now you know how to avoid overwhelming yourself in Anki. But do you know the best settings so that your Anki gets even more optimized for language learning? Check this video out on how to learn more while saving time